Welcome back to Painted, everyone. I am, as always, Maury Curtis Dunbar, your host and the Chief Creative Officer over here at Painted, and we are going to work on some fun projects today. Just to give everybody a minute to come into the room, see what's going on, I wanted to let everyone know you have not been receiving your notifications when we go live for a very specific reason. The program that we use called ManyChat that allows us to announce when we go live through our Facebook Messenger system has been changed because of Facebook permissions. And until we're clear on Facebook permissions on how everything works, we don't want to use it because it could cause us to lose actually both our ManyChat access and even our Facebook page. So we're being very careful to take care of all of you. We don't want to lose you. So just be patient with us until we can figure out what's going on with ManyChat, and it could take a while. This could go on into the summer until we have it straightened out what the permissions are, because Facebook changes their permissions setups so regularly that we're just functioning on the side of caution right now. So just make sure you've liked our page, signed up, hit liked, make sure you get notifications, follow us, so you always know when we're going live, and that will take care of the notification issues. Now, it's finally warming up. You can see I'm sleeveless, and that's because it's freaking hot in the studio. Oh my gosh, today it's warm. Bipolar Illinois weather, so we had 3 inches of snow yesterday. It's going to be like 50 degrees here today. We're supposed to get more snow on Saturday. I give up. Goes along with everything else going on right now. So, but we're going to take it as a hint of warmer weather because it's sunny and gorgeous out, and we're going to work on some summer or warm weather fun cutouts. So today we're going to play with our Sandcastle. Yay. And just to let you know, we also carry the crowns. We carry a little piggies, and we carry our chickens. And I'll be working on all of these over the next 2 days, but we're going to start today with the Sandcastle. Sandcastle made out of birch cutout. It's a birch wood. I think it's fine grade birch plywood is what they say it is. So it's going to have some natural flaws in it. So if you look in the back, we've got some knots and stuff, and you can either embrace that or you can turn it over to the side that has less stuff going on. And we're going to do that today. So I'm going to turn the camera down. So the first thing we need to do to get going on our castle, or our sandcastle, I should say, I'm going to turn it sideways because it'll fit better into the screen for you to see, is we've got to seal it. Because if I paint over this, it'll pop the grain. So the first thing I'm going to do is take some of our Faux effects, and you're not going to be able to read this label because I've taped over it. I actually transferred into a new can. But this is Old World finishing paint from Faux Effects. It doesn't look very pretty. This is the last of one of my gallons, and I'm going to take some out and find a spoon that I just had sitting here. Of course, they're now missing because that's what I'm looking for. Oh lordy, what do I do with these things? All right, I gotta grab them. I just gotta go in and grab some sticks and stuff. Sorry, everybody, I had spoons. Seriously. Yes, of course I had the spoons, because once I went and grabbed these, my other spoons were tucked under my iPad, because I'm that smart. Anyway, I'm going to take some of this out. Now, this is going to see, it's very dry and clay-like in here. It's not normally like that. This is the end of a gallon, and a lot of it's evaporated. But what I have in here is still extremely usable. Old World Finishing Paint is a mineral-based paint, which means that, and I'm just adding water to it. It means that it's got all kinds of wonderful stuff in here to make a wonderful chalky style paint. But it has almost no binders in it, meaning that you cannot apply this and not seal it. Seal it over with something. It needs top coat, another layer of paint over it, something along those lines, something with an acrylic or an oil binder to it to seal it up. You can use wax, you can use all kinds of stuff. But what we also discovered is this product, and you can see I'm just wetting it down because really, once I've gotten it moist again, it works great. And this is really what you're supposed to do with it. If it dries out, you just add water. This is not one of these products that you have to worry about how much water you add to it and have it be good, because it's meant to be thinned, and it can be thinned so thin it's like a translucent wash. And like I said, it has to have some kind of sealer over it, or it will not be permanent to your surface. But we also discovered what this is one of the best wood sealers ever, because this is tint based. So while it looks whitish, it actually dries fairly translucent. So I've added a bunch of water in here. I'm gonna take a little bit of a cup and put some water and wet my brush too. I can't reach my cups. Sorry, I leaned over so hard I whacked myself in the stomach with the table trying to get some water into a cup and knock the breath out of myself. Okay, so you can see it's nice and creamy again, reconstituted 100%, it's great. I've got a little water in the cup, and I take a nice stiff brush and I dip my brush in a little water. Let me see if I've got this. I feel like I've got my camera angle so close in that you might be going a little blind staring at it. So I've got to take my brush, I've wetted it, and I'm dipping it in. That's all I'm using. And I'm brushing it across, and it almost looks like I'm brushing milk across the surface, because what this is going to do is create a thin layer that penetrates into the wood without popping the grain and seals the grain up. This is one of my favorite things, and I can stain over this, I can paint over this, I can glaze over this, and that whitish cast that happens when it dries will disappear. And this also dries very quickly. So I'm gonna, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna take it quickly to the back, throw it in the hot box, and we'll catch up on some other things that are going on here in Painted. And about 5 minutes after I put this in, it'll be ready to go for the next layer. Because we're gonna create some fun textures on here using other wonderful ArtsSyVille, maybe another Faux product. I haven't decided yet. This is gonna go on for a couple days. And if I was gonna paint the back side of this, I would seal that too. And you can see it's already starting to dry. That's how fast it dries, and you can see there's a slight whitish haze where it's drying. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. And run my brush over that, put the brush in the water. Give me just 1 second, I'll be right back. I didn't turn the hot box on. I'm not going to go hunting for the cords because that's going to dry up super fast, and we'll be able to move on to our next step in about a minute anyway. So what we're going to do next is we're going to blend our next layer of colors. So the next thing we're going to do is use, that's not the right product. I grabbed the wrong thing. Hang on. Sorry folks, I just put the container in the wrong place and couldn't find it. That's how this is all going right now. Okay, so we're going to use our ArtsSyVille metallic paste. So those familiar with metallic plasters, this is not something you haven't seen, but this is a wonderful, soft, creamy. This is, you can see it's got a nice creamy texture. Throw some in there, pull my hair out of the container. My hair is everywhere all the time, even when I pull it back. I'm sure you ladies are familiar with that. I'm gonna have to start wearing a freaking hairnet. I wear a hairnet like the lunch ladies. God bless them for wearing it, because I never got hair in my food at school. This hair is stuck to my hand, and now it has black. It won't go away. It really wants to stay with us today. All right. Now, don't hesitate to ask questions. If I miss your questions while I'm doing something because I can't see my phone. Post them, I'll answer them later. Okay, so we're gonna play with a couple colors today, and we're gonna keep it very, very simple. Even though this plaster is white-ish, it's sort of cream color, so I wanna make it a little lighter. I'm using Faux Cream color white. And now, again, we used this the other day, and it had separated a little bit, so there were some big chunks of color in here, and I gotta work to get some out. See if I can get it out of here. Might have to do it this way. Let's see what happens here. Okay, I gotta do this very carefully because last time I did it, I plopped a big chunk out. There we go. And you see, studio products, the containers get beat up and worked on. They take a little bit of a beating in a classroom, you know. Things don't always go stay quite as pristine. All right. There we go. I don't like the stick. It's not stiff enough to stir with, or the spoon. It's great for scooping, but it's not stiff enough to get everything scraped up. Even your tools, as you go around, you find different things work for different reasons. So what I've done is I've just made this whiter. So we have a nice white metallic plaster. Because we're working sort of on the idea of summer, warm weather, sunny skies, I'm doing colors that kind of go with that idea. So now we're going to take a little faux cream color in turquoise. This is not the jar, obviously. They came in, I dropped the jar. I put it in another jar. That's what we do. You don't lose the whole product. You just find a way to repackage it so it doesn't get lost forever. This was a this was a very old jar to begin with. So I'm not surprised when I dropped it, it broke. Plastic does get brittle over time. Look at that pretty soft turquoisey color. Oh, I like that color. And the point is to get pigment so that you enough pigment so you get nice color, but you don't want to make it so pigmented that you bury the metallic plaster. And these are great pigments for that. I've never had a shortness of pigmenting when coloration, and I've never lost my metallics by over pigmenting with faux colors and faux cream colors. Okay, so I've got both of those set there. Hang on just a second, let me grab my next step here. Okay, so we're back. You can see I've still got a little damp spot here, and that's not a big deal. But what I've also got is I've got a slightly ridgy spot here. Now, if I was working on a smooth finish, yeah, I'd sand that, because this stuff sands like butter. You can basically take it, I'm almost polishing it with my hands. It's so easy to sand. You can see I get a little dust on my hands. That's how easy it is to sand. I can take the cloth, get a little, yep. I'm taking down texture. This has got brushy texture right here. And this is bone dry. This is not got any moisture on it at all. You can see it on my skin. There's no moisture. I'm probably pushing dust back on myself. But if I really needed it smooth, of course I would take sandpaper and smooth it out. What we're doing, I don't need to worry about that right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is, let's see, I want to determine whether I want this to be more blue or more white or equally both. So I'm going to take my little tiny Japanese trowel and put some plaster on here. Now this is going to be messy. I'm set up for messy. If you're not, make sure you are. You do before you do this. You can even take these edges off. I'm lazy. I don't take my edges on some stuff sometimes. All right, so I'm going to just trowel this all over. Normally what I'm going to do is at the end of this, I'll sand these edges down and put a little color on them. That's how I handle things like that. So I got white on there, and you can see I'm not troweling in any specific pattern, and there's a reason for that. Because we're going to mix these two colors together, and then we're going to create a texture with them. And I love this. This is like buttercream frosting, a little stiffer. Because buttercream frosting, frankly, I find a little too hard to, it's a little too squishy. This is just the right texture. Yeah, I should have gloves on. I don't. What's new? You all have known me for a long time, many of you, and I'm always forgetting to put gloves on. This is not terribly caustic, so I don't worry about it too much. All right, so you can see I have put a lot of white plasters on there, white metallic, it's called metallic paste. And then I'm going to put some of this gorgeous blue on here. I'm going to trowel it in. And if it's got little uneven spots, you can see right in here that the color didn't break up well because I didn't stir it up enough. I embrace that. I like that for a project like this. If I needed a smooth, even color across the wall or across the surface, I would have blended it more carefully. But for this, I actually like the messy unevenness of it. It works really well for what we're going to be doing. I'm just smearing this stuff on. I just want to make sure I got enough to cover the whole thing, and maybe shift my apron to make sure I'm covered. There we go. Let's see, get some more plaster out here. Again, we carry this product at paintedstudio.com, and if you're enjoying what you see, we ask you to sprinkle the love around. So all I'm going to do is, check my edges here to make sure I don't have big, massive glops of stuff hanging around. It's funny, all my bad decorative painting habits for walls end up being good decorative painting habits for smaller furniture and craft projects. Okay, so you can see we had this big old mess going on here. And you kind of look at that and say, what the heck? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to choose brushes here. The next thing we're going to do is add some texture. Now this one is great, but we're going to add circles. And this one is so big, it will take up too much space. So we're going to start, not with that one though. I think that chip brush gave up the ghost. Okay, so maybe we will use this one because I'm not going to go run around for another thing. So I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to start off center, and we're going to create a circle pattern. And we're not worrying about how perfect they are. I cannot go round today. I keep going ovals. And I'm also going to keep extra towels or paper towels nearby to offload my brush because this builds up quickly. Now, I've done this on entire walls with big wallpaper brushes and chip brushes, and it is such a pretty finish. And I love this. Obviously, this is not a fast finish. You've got to take your time to get this done. And when you don't like it's very forgiving too, because you just can go back in and fix what you don't like. So I'm very happy with that. I'm looking at your questions. Gigi, we are using our ArtsSyVille metallic paste, mixed it with a couple of shades of FauxCreme color in white and in turquoise, and troweled them on randomly, and now we're creating this gorgeous circular pattern. And I just keep using pieces. I could use rags, but it's really messy to clean up the rags. The last time I did this and used nothing but rags, I had to keep cleaning them out in a bucket about a dozen times before I even had a prayer of putting them in a washing machine. So because they got all, built up with goo, which not a very nice thing to call my products when you're, working with them, but really it felt like just goo when I cleaned them out. There's no other way to describe it. So you can see most of my circles are going to be about the same size, but we're going to use the smaller brush to come in and do some alternate sizes. And I go over the edge to make sure that the design is complete all the way around, so you have to pay attention to your edges. Because if they just all stop right here at these lips, it's not going to look right. So you got to make sure you get every part handled. Okay, so we're going to grab, now I've got most of the big space worked in here. Let's just do that down here. But I have some gaps, like I have a spot in there and there. All right, so I'm going to take my smaller brush. This is brand new, so I got to kind of smush it in my hand to splay the bristles out a little bit, otherwise it's too tight. Also, doing that, I just shed bristles into my finish, so yeah, I'm proud of me for that. I'm not going to really fuss too hard to get them out because they're not deeply embedded, and that'll actually be easier for me to get out when it's dry. Let's see if I can just catch the ones that are sitting right on top. Okay, so here, and then we got one here. Getting a little higher. Oh yeah, that's coming out great. I like that. And I can make as many or as few of these as I like or need. And if I don't like how any of it comes out, I just come back in here with a big brush and redo over the whole thing. See, I got a little streak right there that needs an attention. Oh yeah, look, it's coming out nicely. I gotta unload some more off of this brush because it's starting to build up too much. Let's get in here where it's thin and maybe use some of the stuff that built up on my brush to fill in the blank spot. Yes. Oh, there we go. Ooh, that's coming out so cute. I like that. I'm just trying to make sure I get all the spots that I didn't hit with the big roller, so I gotta look in and peek in a few places and catch things up. Alrighty. Oh, I like this. Catch that corner right there. A few spots that look a little bald. So I want to make sure I put product there, and then I just play with it with the brush until it's right. So look how cute that came out. Okay, let's pull that back so that you can see that. I like how that came out. And I could leave it just like that if I wanted to, or we could do something else with it. Hang on a sec. We can run a roller through it. Grab a handle. need to think for a second to see which way this is gonna roll down. Now I could do this, I could do diamonds through this, I could do just about anything. And actually, I don't know if I really want to do this big leafy pattern because I don't think it's going to do the best for this. So give me just a sec. We'll use our Python pattern. Why? Because I think I'll always check to make sure these roll freely before you do this, because it will make your life so hard if you don't. It'll have drags and everything. So I'm going to take it from the top, and I'm just basically letting the weight of the roller do the work. And then I'm going to come back in. And obviously I'm not worrying too much about my patterns matching up, catching everything. I like to come in. I'm sorry, I got cups everywhere, so I'm afraid to move the roller the wrong way. Because otherwise I'm gonna knock a whole bunch of stuff flying across the room. All right, so we're gonna come up this way. One little spot right down there that I wasn't happy. There we go. And I can leave this as it is now. So now I have both the swirl pattern and the snake pattern. I can leave it as it is. If I wasn't completely happy with this, I could knock this down. But I love how this came out. I think this is just fun and cute. And we're gonna have another stage to do with this tomorrow, when I do my live on, I think, Jennifer's page, and we'll do some other fun things. We're just going to starting a bunch of fun projects for the season, I think. So let me wipe my hands off for a second so I can flip the camera up without killing the camera with my thumb full of plaster. And let's get me upright. And here you are, everybody. Oh, I'm so glad you all came by. I hope you had fun with this. This was just a short intro. Sorry, just checking to see if I dropped plaster in my lap, because it wouldn't be the first time today. Thanks for coming by, seeing what we're doing here. This is just a short intro on this one. We're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna be doing a lot of videos as we stay in this lockdown thing. I want everybody to have some fun things to look forward to, fun ways to play with products. So I appreciate you all coming by. Sprinkle the love. That was great roller tease. Thank you. Love the whole, thank you so much, Gigi. I appreciate it. I shouldn't read out loud. It's not like you're 2-year-olds who need me to read the comments to you. I'm sorry. I'm just getting so used to being by myself. I'm starting to act like a little bit like I have nobody to talk to ever. So I just talk to everybody all the time out loud. Anyway, we'll be back with this tomorrow. We'll be doing more fun projects. We're going to use the pigs, the chickens, the crowns, all of that this weekend. If I'm not on my page, check me out on Artistic Painting Studio. I'm guest retailer tomorrow for their live marathon. So I'm on at 3 o'clock Central Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time. I think that's right. I'll have to check. It'll be posted on the page. And then on Saturday, we're going to be doing another live on APS. And somewhere in between there, I'm going to be doing another live here. So we're going to be doing all kinds of fun things. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Sprinkle the love. Hope to see you back. Thanks. Bye.